My surgery yesterday was at Cedars-Sinai Hospital. They moved me from 3 p.m. to 8 a.m. first of the day, so I had to be there at 6. Got up at 5 to scrub myself with the Hybiclens antimicrobial wash. I was the last person in pre-op to get prepped for surgery. They sort of line you up like it's like an assembly line of surgery. I actually waited in pre-op for an hour for them to even throw an IV in my arm, which they couldn't get. So the lady had to put lidocaine in my hand to try to hit a good vein. The surgery took about 3.5 hours. Normally they can get implants in a capsule out in about an hour. Some people can do a capsule out and a lift in an hour. I was totally awake. They just threw a big old shot of Valium in my IV. So I was just like, had to scoot myself onto the operating table. They strap every part of you down like you're gonna be launched on the space shuttle. My whole surgical team, strangely enough, was all female. On the operating table was at a weird angle and it was hurting me. I'm like, this is gonna kill. This is gonna be so bad on me after surgery. Can you please put something on my neck? So she actually fashioned, like she took foam and taped it together and almost made like a donut for the back of my head. Gave me some more good drugs. And then the last I remember is her seeing the doctors come in, the surgeons, and her saying, okay, sleepy time. And she put the mask over my face. I woke up, they gave me a shot, which I could taste, which was weird, of a giant shot of antibiotics and a giant shot of antifungals, which I had bugged them to give me, but they didn't want to give me because they didn't think it was important. No, we'll give you some pills later. So I made them do both, and they did, because as I'm getting wheeled to the post-op room out of the OR, I start getting hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter, and I'm like the 2-minute ride there. As soon as they park me in post-op, they sit me up in bed a little bit and I start sweating like I'm in a sauna. And I mean sweat rolling off me like I'm in a sauna. Hair starts getting soaked, my clothes are getting soaked. They're looking at me and I'm like, it's the antifungal shot, because I knew that's when you get massive yeast die-off. It releases gas as it all dies off and you sweat it out. It's disgusting. And then after I sweated for an hour, I then vomited for an hour, because there's that. I was in post-op for about 3 hours because the vomiting thing. Finally got back to the hotel in an Uber and just went to bed. My mom tried to clean me up, but I went to bed. But I have to tell you, all last night and this morning, in between painkiller doses, I feel like Mike Tyson or somebody just punched the crap out of me from my shoulders to my lower ribs, all the way across my body. Like the whole upper to lower area is so sore. And obviously that's because my implants were behind the muscle. They're under the muscle. Literally, it's like they have to lift up your breast tissue and your muscle to get the implant in and out. And I have markings near my armpits where I believe they went in and did the needle biopsies of my lymph nodes, because I have silicone in my lymph nodes and they wanted to needle biopsy them. They did a needle biopsy figuring it's better to wait to see if they came back cancerous than to take them out and have the test come back that you didn't have cancer. I should get the results back in like 10 days to 2 weeks. There's fungal tests, bacterial tests, microbial tests, a shit ton of cancer tests they did off the fluid that they swabbed out of my chest cavity. And they also did tissue samples on the capsules that the breast implants were in. And then they did some interior tissue samples from behind where the implants were, because that's where the cancer grows apparently. They said they were gonna give me a block, an interior block, which would numb you up so you wouldn't feel your whole chest cavity for like 10 days, but they didn't do that. Because besides the soreness of feeling that somebody was in there just moving my muscles out of the way, it also feels like there was a Roomba with teeth just going back and forth across my body, which is what happened when you have leaking silicone. And my implants were both ruptured and leaking. They basically go in there with a rake, a vacuum hose attachment that looks like a rake at the end of it, and they just vacuum you out and scrape the leaking silicone off the back of my chest wall and my ribs. Awesome. I have the kind that turns into almost like a silly putty, or like a watery taffy, not the scrambled egg kind. Some kind turns into scrambled eggs and hardens in little lumps. They did say they got it all, and they got the complete capsule out, which is all the scar tissue and some tissue around it, which I know they took out in case the samples do come back cancerous. They hedged their bets and took some extra tissue that was around the scar capsule out already. The weird thing is the drains that I will show you. They usually leak blood and just little fat, little antibiotics, whatever was shot into your chest cavity during surgery. What I didn't realize until the first night was that there's an oil sheen in them. There's oil coming out of my body because the main component in the silicone gel implants, it's a petroleum product. So imagine like a car tire. It's basically what your breast implants are. It's like a gooey car tire. And I think if women actually knew and saw videos of what ruptured breast implants look like, and the pain of getting these in was nothing. I was sore for a couple days. The pain of getting these out and then seeing oil, like petroleum that's in your body leaking out with blood in the drains that are implanted in your chest. And it's horrifying to think that I'm not sure if all the petroleum will get out of my body. I'm going to be doing more videos where I get acupuncture and lymphatic drainage massage and herbal wraps, and I'm going to do Dead Sea pools, cryogenic tanks, the red light infrared sauna beds, the bone broth juice fast from the company that's supposed to heal you. Like, I've got so many therapies I'm going to do and try and post for you guys. I'm having a hair analysis. I'm going to do chelation therapy and IV therapy to try to flush my system. When I get my hair analysis back, which is going to take a few weeks, I'm like dying to know how many heavy metals are in my body, because my implants are made from arsenic, lead, platinum, tin, the things they put in car tires and antifreeze and make it do a nice gel, and then it's in a hard candy shell in your chest. And it's all now in my body because they were leaking. So that's fun. My original records are with the Cleveland Clinic, and they seem to not be able to find them. I was a study participant in a Mentor Implants, is the biggest implant manufacturer in the country. They make breast implants, tissue expanders. They make all kinds. They're a class 3 device manufacturer. So I was in a study sponsored by Mentor for the FDA, like samples. They were like test implants. Obviously they worked really well. So I have to get those records because we're not even sure the model number, the lot number, what they were actually made from. But right now I'm going to go take my pills, and I will take you guys with me to see the whole drainage thing and the markings, and show you where the drains are coming out of my chest. And it'll be kind of gooey and gory, but I'll label the next video before it gets posted. So I'll put a warning on there because it's kind of going to be graphic. If someone had made you feel this way for like 5 minutes before you got them years ago, you'd be like, oh hell no. Because, you know, what goes up must come down, what goes in must come out. I'm in the must come out part, and it's fucking sucks. And I may have to have a breast lift later because we're not even sure now that what was up here might go down there. So I may have, like, you know, big saggy mama tits, and I don't have kids. So we'll see. We'll see what they look like. They took lots of photos before, so I'll post those with happy little dancing clown faces on them or something. So that's all for now. Join me later when we watch the Oxan Valdez get pumped out of my chest. Remember to click subscribe and stay tuned for my next adventure.